What is going on, ladies and gents? Randy here with RTS Mobile Gaming, bringing you an absolutely dynamite video tonight. We are playing the Lord of the Rings Rise to War, and in today's video we are talking about the brand new patch changes that just came out for one of my favorite commanders in the game is Kirun, okay? Kirun is phenomenal. He was decent before. He was one of the best sweepers and best PvE commanders in the game. He was one of the best for early game combat, but as we all know, as you start to get to some of the higher level combat, he began to fall off when facing other very strong tier 3 commanders. He was not keeping up on the PvP battle scene. So, dynamite sweeper, dynamite tile taker, and pather, and overall early game commander. Late game commander wasn't quite holding up in PvP. So, the changes tonight have been a couple of things. There have been quite a few changes in the patch that just came out about an hour ago. Let's talk about those changes right now. Get excited, okay? So, the first things first. His Respect 3 and his Respect 5 titles have been completely reworked, okay? All of the skills are totally different. Well, 4 of the 6 skills are totally different, okay? Golden Visage no longer reduces range damage down to the minimum. It now is actually a 75% chance for all of the enemy units to deal minimum damage. So, slight buff. This could be a minor buff when facing enemy ranged, but a massive, massive, massive benefit for you if you're facing enemy melee. As we all know, many troops have anywhere from a 15 to a 25 damage 15 to 25% damage swing between their top and their bottom minimum damage, and some units like Master Throwers and Alchemists completely lose massive 75% of their top end damage down to the minimum, okay? So, Golden Visage is going to be ginormously strong. This is going to be the Kirun just became a massive counter for Witch King Nuking commanders and other commanders that rely on top-end damage bonuses, okay? So, it still remains to be seen if this is going to counteract the Opportune Strike buff. We know previously King of the Dead had a similar ability, which is counteracted by the Opportune Strike, okay? But if you're not facing someone with Opportune Strike or their Opportune Strike does not trigger, Golden Visage will be phenomenal, okay? So, what does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? Well, first things first, before I move to the other skills, having Golden Visage being so valuable, but now it requires 15 points, whereas before you could get the benefits with 1 skill point, or you would put 2 skill points here and 1 skill point in Sandstorm to get the stunning effect on 2 enemy units. The problem right now is you have to sink 15 points into Golden Visage to gain really an effective amount of benefit, okay? Sure, can you do it with 10 or 12? Yes, you can. You're just going to decrease the effectiveness of the actual minimum damage roll, okay? So, that means you're going to have to reallocate points that were previously in the Respect 1 title for Lord of the Sand and the Respect 5 title tree, which is now different. You're going to have to repurpose those points into Golden Visage if you want to maximize the benefit. So, I think this is a phenomenal for Kirun overall. I think this is going to make him much stronger against especially some of the commanders that he's been getting destroyed against, right? A good Witch King punches directly through Kirun in no time at all. This is going to really help counter a lot of these OP builds that Evil on especially role-playing servers doesn't have a hard counter for, okay? Okay, the next skill that got changed. Okay, well, Sandstorm was the same. Phalanx here used to be a different ability as well. This has been changed to reduce your physical damage received by 14%. So some good damage reduction there, combined with Golden Visage, makes this very strong. So if you only have Respect 3 Kirun and not Respect 5 and not the Respect 5 title tree, you are going to have an enormously more tanky Kirun than before. He's going to be much more tanky than before, okay? The next ability that we've got here, Master of the War Chariot. This is the Respect 5 title, and if you recall, this one previously had a 50% chance to reduce incoming damage by 30%. That has been completely reworked and removed, which is going to make your R5 tree actually less tanky, but they make up for it with all these interesting, unique bonuses. So, Master of the War Chariot is going to give your units, it's going to give your War Chariots, I know it says plus 40, but I've only got 10 out of 15. It's going to give your War Chariots plus 60% damage on their first attack dealt, okay? It's going to make your Dragoons deal an additional 30% damage against large units, and it's going to make your Halberdiers receive 30% reduced damage from cavalry. So, if you have a Kirun at rank 5, your units are going to be much tankier from the buffed Golden Visage, and they are going to be ginormously more effective against mounted and large units, okay? So those are two units which previously were very difficult to fight as the run faction, especially on RP. Right now, this is going to be a double counter against Mumakills, okay? The Master of the War Chariot title here, the R5 new Kirun title, is going to double counter the Mumakills. Dragoons will deal 30% bonus damage to them. Halberdiers will take 30% reduced damage from them, okay? And really, it's going to excel fighting against Rohan cavalry, just all kind of units, okay? This just makes this build much more aggressive and offensive than previously, okay? Now, one of the skills we lost was the quicksand skill, okay? The quicksand skill has been replaced with absolute leader. That means two things. One, previously quicksand gave a 10% chance to stun the enemies every turn, right? And two enemies. So you're losing basically 2 potential stuns every turn. And that was a static plus 20% damage to those 2 units while they were debuffed, okay? So what does that mean right now? This change is going to give you a maximum increased damage of 30% all the time. So all of your allies will deal 30% damage if you have 3 different evil men unit types. So let's dissect this a little bit, okay? Absolute leader is going to, if you only are running 1 evil man unit, let's just say you're running halberdiers and then some cavalry knights or whatever, bow knights, whatever you're doing, if you're only running 1 evil man unit, all of your units will deal 10% physical damage bonus, okay? Now, and just make sure you are noting that this is not going to help your Corsairs. Your Corsairs will not benefit from the physical damage boost, okay? But if you are running all 3 of your evil men units, your entire army will deal 30% increased physical damage. So, they've replaced the 2 target, 20% all damage bonus, and the 10% chance to stun. They've replaced that with an interesting potential for 30% increased damage if it's physical type, if you limit your combo to evil men. As we all know, evil men have a total of 5 potential units, 5. They've got the War Chariots, they have the Fallen, both of those are unique tier 4 units, so if you're not running Angmar or Run, you're going to have to be running a mixture of Corsairs, Dragoons, and Halberdiers, okay? So your Halberdiers and your Dragoons will massively benefit from the absolute leader. Your Corsairs might not have as much benefit, but that's okay. And of course, we still have Tribal Tactics, a 25% chance for double strike, right? The Respect 1 trees haven't changed. You still have the Phenomenal Healing and Stuns here in R1, and the debuffs and damage reduction abilities here in R1 Easterling, okay? So, overall total recap. I know we dissected a lot of information today, okay? I'm going to say 2 things. One, I'm going to say that I believe this is definitely a buff to Kirun overall, and I like the direction the devs are going. Really excited to see Kirun reworked because, like I said, he's one of my favorite commanders, but he used to kind of drop off a little bit on a downhill slope as you get past the level 40 range. Other commanders start to really come into their own, and Kirun seems to just stay the same and get incrementally better. So I haven't seen very many Kirun builds that can really compete unless you have a Madness Helm and you get a couple Lucky Madness procs. But typically, if you're running a commander or a unit that is anti-stun or does focus, burn, and poison damage, you were able to beat Kirun relatively easily, okay? This is going to change that. This is going to massively reduce all of the damage, physical, poison, focus, or burn by all enemies with Golden Visage. Very strong there. Okay. You still have your stuns from the R1 and the R3, the Lord of the Sand, and the Sandstorm, right? You're just going to have... So what it does is it really makes you rethink the points. The devs gave it to us good before, ladies and gents. We were able to simply put 3 points in R1 and 3 points in R5 and gain 2 different stunning abilities, reduce enemy range damage to a minimum, guaranteed. And after that, we could apply all of our additional skill points to the Lord of the Sand and the Easterling to give ourselves a lot of heals and defensive triggers, okay? What we've done now is we've made Golden Visage, like I said before, require 15 points instead of just 1 or 2. So it's going to take 13 points out of play that were previously in different builds, okay? In addition to that, if you were having the Quicksand ability maxed out 7 out of 7 in R5, then you were at 15 points already, which was good damage reduction. But what this does is it slightly decreases the tankiness, right? We're talking a 15% overall averaged over 10 round damage reduction previously from the R5 skill to all the units. Now it's going to be the Halberdiers versus Mounted get a defensive boost, but it's going to increase the damage output of your march. So typically, my biggest complaint about Kirun is he doesn't have enough damage output, and he doesn't give his units enough damage output. And I think the devs have really listened to that feedback from myself and all the other players, and therefore have added Absolute Leader into the mix, combined with the damage bonuses in the Master of the War Chariot. My guess is, especially against cavalry units or mama kills, you'll see your damage for your overall march increasing by anywhere from 20 to 30% if you're running the Evil Man combination, okay? You will have slightly lower defensive triggers, like I said, the 15% average from the shield trigger, but I think the Golden Visage is going to outweigh that. I think you're going to see closer to a 15 to 20% reduced damage received against most units. Some units will be affected more than others, of course. Unless you're facing like March Wardens, which just deal the same exact damage no matter what, or Sentinels, in which case, this 5% reduction, God save you. So, all right. Anyways, that is the video, ladies and gents. I'm happy with the direction of the changes. I'm really looking forward to playing with Kirun moving forwards. Oh, I'm right here. Why don't I attack somebody with Kirun? This is going to take 47 seconds. Stick around. Stick around. I wasn't planning on doing this. I was just going to kind of talk about him. But now, why don't I show you a report? Okay? So, the build I'm running right now, like we just talked about. I have decided that Frontline Rescue gives you a total of 900% healing with 3 allied melee units, okay? Sand Soldier can give you approximately 1,200% healing over the course of the average fight, okay? So I've decided to max out Sand Soldier in lieu of Frontline Rescue, getting, like I said a second ago, about a 33% increase in potential healing output. So if you are looking to prioritize skills, you're going to want to go with Sand Soldier instead of Frontline Rescue. If you're looking for somewhere to steal points from, to stick into these other talents, okay? Okay, let's see how that went. Let's see how it went. All right, we're facing against the Dwarves, ladies and gentlemen. Here we can see Kirun coming in hot with 33.3k healing. Very nice. We have a decent amount of soldier damage, a lot of damage received, and overall commander damage. Here we're fighting against a Dane with some very tanky dwarven units. Of course, I'm dealing physical damage. So let's see how that played out. Okay, damage output from my units, ladies and gents. We've got 46k from the Halberdiers, 55.7k from the Corsairs, and 71k from the Fallen. These are all the same exact command worth of units. That should help you evaluate which unit is going to be higher damage output for you, okay? For this particular fight. Dane's units. Very good. So Dane did the bulk of the damage, okay? Into the combat report itself. Let's see how those buffs were applied and how they affected my damage. All right. Okay, here we go. Here it is. There we go. Oh, that's the fallen. Okay, I gotta go to the next. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Kirun's melee vigor. That is from one of my armor pieces. I apologize. All right, we got Sand Soldier stacking. We have Lord of the Sand stacking. We got Golden Visage reducing their damage output from all 3 units plus the Master Thrower. Okay, I have now triggered 7% increase. This is 5 out of 7 points, so it's giving myself a 21% increase physical damage dealt by my 3 units from Absolute Leader with 5 out of 7. Where is the... Where is the Master of the... Where's that? I'm looking for the Master skill. Okay, this is interesting. It looks like the Master of the War Chariot ability, the R5 tree, does not trigger unless you're using War Chariots. Similar to the Witch King, how his R5 ability does not trigger unless you're using Fell Beasts. How interesting is that? So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight wrinkle in the plan here. If you are playing Run, you are going to gain all the benefits that we talked about. If you are not playing Run and you don't have access to the War Chariots, you will not gain benefits from that R5 tree. So this R5 tree here, this Master of the War Chariot, it doesn't explicitly say it, but you will not gain any of these bonuses unless you're running War Chariots. That's good to know. And important to note, ladies and gents. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the report. We're still going to gain 21% bonus damage. So it's not all lost, but slightly upset that I'm not getting my War Chariot bonuses to all my units. All right, here we go. Kirun still punching out with some nice looking heals there that did not happen because my units are full health. All right. Okay. Oh, look at that. The Golden Visage decreased the damage dealt by the Master Thrower from 9 to 29 down to 9. Golden Visage decreased the damage dealt by Iron Warrior from 30 to 34 down to 30. So, perfect example. This is a 13% damage decrease against the Iron Warriors. I don't even know what that is. Let's do the math on that. Hang on. Wow, that is a 69% damage reduction for the Master Throwers. So they just had their damage reduced by 69%. The Iron Warriors by 13.3%, right? Anybody else? The Ram Riders were decreased. We have Ram Riders were decreased by a total of 13% as well. So 13% damage reduction against those 2 melee units and 69% against the ranged. Here is the heals. So my heals are triggering at 2886. Very nice to see that. All right. Continuing to apologize. It is pretty late. I need to go to bed soon. Sorry for yawning on camera. I'm sorry. Don't fire me. I apologize. Okay, well listen. You get the point of the video, ladies and gents. We are watching a continuous decrease against a lot of these units' damage. It's reducing the damage that I receive. It's an interesting development. I really like the changes to the R3. I don't like the fact that I have to use War Chariots to get this particular title, but I will agree that while Kirun is a hero and the ultimate commander for the Run faction, it makes sense for him, similar to the Witch King, to be tied to Fell Beasts. Why not tie Kirun to the War Chariots, okay? So, you heard it here, ladies and gents. Kirun updated with Season 2 new patch, all right? Love you long time. Give me that like and sub. Randy out.